I'll be with you in a minute. Hello and welcome to another episode of Fully Charged. Now, as you can see, slightly different format this week. I'm going to do a fairly major kind of refurbishment of Fully Charged. To use hairdresser parlance, I'm going to give it a bit of a zhuzh. I'm going to zhuzh it up a bit. But I want to try and focus the series partly on electric vehicles, as I have been now, but also equally on the future of energy, how we create energy, how we use energy, what the real costs are, what the drawbacks of different systems are, what the advantages of different systems are, to try and understand the whole package, because that's the one thing I've learnt beyond anything else. Immediately you drive an electric vehicle, you become supremely aware of the energy you're using in a way that we've completely kind of got used to with traditional cars. You know, we don't think about it at all. Just get in a car, fill it with petrol, drive it, and, you know, when the tank gets empty, you fill it up again. I never thought about it for years. And then as soon as you drive an electric car, you go, hang on a minute, where does that come from and what is involved in getting it to me? It just makes all those things very obvious. And so it's an equal part of the whole debate is partly what the cars are like and how they work and if they work well enough and if there is such a thing as range anxiety and all those myriad tiny discussions. They're all really important. But what is overridingly important is where the energy comes from that makes them move, how we produce that energy, and how we're going to continue producing that energy in a world that's changing incredibly fast. I can't keep up, and I do try and keep up. Anyway, this week I'm going to be looking at the Renault Fluence. Now, sometimes when I get a car to sort of test, I have it, you know, around for a few days and I can sort of film it and try and be a bit clever and try and do some sort of, you know, rubbish sub-top gear shots of it driving along a road. Yeah, let's not go there. But considering this series is currently done on literally a zero budget, I do the best I can. But when I got a chance to drive the Renault Fluence, it was during a sort of test day in London and there was lots of people around and I couldn't film much, so I didn't get a lot of footage of it. We've got a very interesting discussion with Andy Hiron, who is the head of the electric vehicles section of Renault, as we were driving along in it. But I'll just give you a quick few bits of background on the car. Well, it is based on the Renault Fluence, which is a regular petrol or diesel car, but this one has been converted very cleverly into an electric vehicle. It has a 22 kilowatt hour lithium ion battery pack, that's slightly smaller than the Leafs, which is a 24 kilowatt hour pack. It has a top speed of 84 miles an hour, which is plenty. It has a 70 kilowatt or 90 horsepower motor, electric motor with 226 newton meters of torque. And now I've been to meet the lovely people at Yasa Motors, I know what that means, 226. Well, a human being is 10 newton meters, isn't it, going twisting a bar. So 226. It's quite a long row of people. So it's a lot of torque. It certainly does go really well. The car drives really nicely. It's very comfortable. It's very simple to drive. It's very straightforward, quiet, all the things you'd expect. I also, on the same day, got to drive the Kangoo van, the little white van that Renault have produced, which is brilliant. For some reason, I really love the van. It's got brutal regenerative braking. And as I've talked to other electric car drivers, that is the one thing we love. And that's the one thing the one criticism I'd certainly have for the Nissan Leaf. The regenerative braking, it does have it, but it's not brutal. I want it so brutal, it's shocking. Because what it does is, as you slow down, you want to take your foot off the throttle and it goes as you're churning out as many watts as you can with the electric motor. The Tesla has amazing regenerative braking. The Kangoo van, it's awesome. That said, I really love the Renault Fluence. It comes out next year. I'll let Andy explain it all. He explains it so much better than me. Oh no, have I done the right thing?
No, I think it's on, isn't it?
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I was trying to be all suave and used to...
Gets everyone. Gets everyone first time.
Because when I first said it, well, of course you're used to electric cars, so you won't be surprised. Here's me going, ooh, is it on? Yes, it
That's it, that sounds promising.
That is definitely, there's some movement there. So no, it'd be good if you introduced what your job is, because I'll do it wrong.
I'm Andy Hiron and I look after the electric vehicle programme for Renault in the UK with a very grand title of Head of EV Programme.
That's fantastic.
It's good, isn't it?
It's good.
I made it up myself.
Did you?
I should actually say brand manager electric vehicles.
Right.
I thought the other one sounded better.
That's good. And now, because I've seriously had a lot of questions, because when I was on my way here today, I said I'm going to drive the Renault Fluence, something I'm so lucky or something, and then next time I looked, probably a couple of hundred questions.
The
Twitterati got in there, but there's a lot of interest in this because it's normal, which it definitely is. This car is like a car. It looks like a car. It doesn't look like anything else.
No, it's not a spaceship. It's not planned air.
Does it fly?
only to a maximum height of 30 feet for safety reasons. No. I mean, I think the thing with the Fluence is it's derived from a petrol and diesel, so it's quite cleverly engineered, a little bit more length in the chassis to get.
So it has actually. So it's slightly longer.
It's 6 inches longer.
Right.
There's a little bit of loss of boot space. Totally, the cabin space is totally unencroached.
Right. But because that was quite interesting though, because that you've got effectively a kind of box of battery as opposed to a sort of slab on the floor. I think it's a box of battery, which presumably is for because there's so much interest in the
main difference is on a Kangoo, because you've got effectively you've got a flat load floor.
Yeah.
You can get the batteries underneath that. Here you've obviously got a rear footwell, so you need to be a bit clever about how you do it.
Where you shove them.
So it's a stack of 16 modules deep, 3 high.
Right.
Fits behind the back seat. Obviously well anchored in, nice little protection cell, that sort of thing.
Right. But I mean, is part of that design? I mean, this is only from what I've been hearing today. So that the jump for this vehicle to go from this model, as in a European model, to the one for the Better Place Israel project, is that so that can be it's in the same lump? It's a lump of battery you could drop out.
It can drop out. The Zoe is a different shaped battery again.
Is it? Right.
But the principle is exactly the same. You drive into a Better Place or a quick drop station.
So that's also designed with that
in mind.
Because I think it is interesting. There's a lot of people certainly think that who haven't driven an electric vehicle yet, who've heard of the notion of the Better Place thing, i.e. the replaceable battery. That immediately makes them go, oh, that would work. I could drive one of those.
It's an absolute game changer.
Yeah.
And you could tell there was a but coming up. I think what people have to be realistic with is what you can rely on. What is the infrastructure in the UK today? It's predominantly single phase 16 amp charging. Yes. Some of that will be done publicly. A lot of it, as you know, is done at home. Nice acceleration.
Yeah, it's got it. Definitely got it there if it needs it.
And that's the reality. If and when Better Place comes to the UK, then obviously it'll make it sort of, if you like, viable or a workable option for an awful lot more people.
Yeah.
But I certainly don't think that people should base their decision on whether to buy a vehicle or not on the Better Place infrastructure.
So the model of these cars is slightly different. I mean, I know you've explained this to me before, because I'm very slow with all this stuff. But the purchase price of this car is considerably less than the Leaf, and we can. I don't know how awkward it is to compare it with that, seeing as you're in partnership with the two companies. But it is there's a noticeable, because this is what you say, 17,850. But
as somebody said on the Twitter thing, battery's not included.
Which is
so obviously the battery is included, because there's one in the back of the car and it hasn't. I didn't have to sort of plug it, bring it along myself. But the battery's included, but you're paying a rental for the battery of, say, price, I think in the press release it say 75, from 75 quid, so it's 6,000 miles a year, 75 quid. More miles you do, the price goes up, not by an awful lot, £5 or £10 for every 3,000 miles. We haven't published the full grid yet, we've just confirmed that price. It's still, as far as I'm concerned anyway, it's still a fantastic value proposition. 75 quid doesn't even get you a tank of fuel. If you had the diesel version of that, it doesn't even get you a tank of fuel. You've got, within that price, you've got roadside recovery, unlimited, I love this word, energy breakdowns, which is the idiot that runs juice.
That drives onto the motorway to do 100 miles, and he's only got 3 miles in the...
Exactly, can't make it to the next junction.
So there's a recovery for that.
There's a recovery for that. There's obviously a recovery for that breakdown, if the vehicle itself fails, but there's a very specific assistance in the case of, as I say, what I call energy breakdown.
And that's also interesting, that the one thing that is, the main thing that's likely to change and therefore improve in electric vehicles is batteries, isn't it? I mean, the one thing that is or do you not think that's a part of it?
I think part of it will be batteries, little by little.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know if you caught the guy this morning who was saying, 200 mile battery in 5 years and 400 mile battery in 10.
Right.
That's a complete pub myth. Lithium-ion batteries, which are the best you can get today, the energy curve is already flattening out.
Right.
I think, Robert, the big advances in range are not going to come from battery technology. They're going to come from sort of clever aerodynamics, better regenerative brake, basically more energy saving, more efficiency on the vehicle.
Right. Using less energy to move you effectively.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you'll still get it, out of your quarter of a ton battery. In a couple of years' time, you might not get 22 kilowatts. You might get 24 kilowatts.
Right. So that's quite interesting then. So you don't see like a sudden leap forward of lithium air batteries or lithium titanium or whatever all those different types are.
If somebody, if somebody if somebody invents a new technology, just as 20 years ago somebody came up with the idea of lithium ion, and the whole sort of energy density curve went up another great leap. But at the moment, we don't have visibility on that, and I think it's very dangerous for people to sell electric vehicles.
Yes, with that,
on the basis of
promise in the future.
Just think, because just think, as you were joking earlier, the car could fly.
Yeah.
But practically, we've got to deal with one that sort of keeps all its wheels on the tarmac.
Yeah. But it's also, it is in a sense the same argument as has been used with hydrogen fuel cells. Because I've driven a hydrogen fuel cell car, which was amazing. It did work. I think if my grandchildren have hydrogen fuel cell cars, we would have done well. I can't see it happening. And what it does, it gives the excuse to not do anything, in a sense. And that's the same with in 5 years' time I'll buy an electric car when the batteries give you...
But let's be honest, nobody had bought a mobile... everybody had sat on their backside and said, I'll wait for a much smaller mobile phone with a smaller battery and, decent signal, and I'll let them build a network. There is a use and a usefulness for those mobile phones. And I know people get tired of analogies between mobile phones and electric vehicles, but all I see happening going forward is electric vehicles, because of a combination of performance and affordability, will become feasible for more and more people. Yeah. I don't see it as a reason for the people for whom they work today not to get on board.
Yes. Around 17,500 quid. Yeah. And it will be on the market in this country in
mid-2012.
Mid-2012.
We'd like to bring it forward, but we can say definitely mid-2012.
And that's right-hand drive, obviously.
That is proper steering wheel.
Steering wheel there.
Well, that's all for this episode of Fully Charged, but please do join me again. There seriously is a lot of other stuff to come.